American F-117 Nighthawk that was shot down over Serbia in 1999 may have actually helped the Chinese. Balkan military officials say Chinese agents were buying up pieces of the plane from locals. Well, now that the House has voted to repeal ObamaCare, the work begins to replace the health care law with something Republicans say is more sensible. Leading the effort, members of the House Republican Doctors Caucus. Louisiana Congressman John Fleming is an MD and also vice chair of the caucus. He joins us live now. Congressman, thanks for coming in.
Great to be with you.
All right, so repeal and replace. You've got
Yes.
a lot of work ahead. How do you begin to tackle offering up new ideas?
Right. Well, first of all, the repeal bill passed with a much larger margin out of the House than the actual bill, the ObamaCare bill in the first place. But also, little notice was given to the fact that we also passed a rule that sent to the committees of jurisdiction the order, now is time to go create some replacement legislation that's going to be market-driven, patient-centered, and we're going to be submitting very soon standalone bills, individual bills that target the very problems that we see, and certainly that go after the very things, the few things, the trinkets, if you will, on Obamacare that we all may consider to be good.
All right, so I want to read a little bit of a critique that came from one of your Democratic colleagues. This is Representative Jim McGovern. He said he called it now it's going to be repeal and relax. He doesn't have much confidence in the Republicans' efforts to get this done. And he says that the resolution calling for the replacement is nothing but a collection of empty promises. How do you respond?
Well, I just think that's flat wrong, of course, because, you know, there's a difference between coverage, which is what this bill offers, and actual access to care. What's going to happen, Shannon, is you're going to have millions of Americans who are going to have cards and they're not going to be able to find doctors. And you're going to have the emergency rooms clogged with people because, for instance, half of the newly covered are going to be on Medicaid. And today we can't find enough doctors to see Medicaid patients to begin with because of the low reimbursement rates.
We've heard that voiced by a number of doctors.
Yes.
How do you answer criticism that you all are doing all this work in the House that's going to be dead on arrival in the Senate? I mean, the top Republican there, Mitch McConnell, the minority leader, has vowed he will get a vote on this repeal in the Senate. But some say it's never going to happen, and this is wasting the House's time. What do you think?
It's all up, Shannon, to public opinion. If public opinion falls in behind us, and you have 23 or more Democrat senators who are going to be up for re-election in 2012, then a lot of them are going to be looking back over their shoulders and going, you know what, this bill is terrible, and I better change my mind on this. And I think they can force a vote. The rules are much more relaxed in the Senate than the House. And as a result of that, I'm confident that we're going to be able to show people's hands, that is, members of the Senate, going forward. And that's going to be very important in the 2012 election, because if we control the House and the Senate, and perhaps even the presidency, I think Obamacare is gone.
Do you think the president will talk about this in the State of the Union, this particular repeal, or do you think he's not going to even want to?
I think it's likely he will not address it, but if he does, he'll, of course, use the rhetoric, we don't want to go back and so forth. But the reality is, Shannon, that we're adding a whole new giant entitlement that's going to bankrupt this country. Here we are on the one hand talking about it, even the president saying we need to go back and look at cutting spending, and yet we're adding tremendous spending, perhaps as much as $2 trillion over 10 years.
All right, very quickly, I got to ask you, what are your seating plans? Do you have a plan for the State of the Union?
I don't have a seat mate. As you know, we can sit anywhere we please, and that's been open. So if the Democrat member, I'll in fact throw out the invitation. If a Democrat member wants to sit with me, come on down. I'd love to sit with you.
Well, we have no doubt they're watching Fox News today, so we will let you know when the invitations roll, and we hope that you find a date to the State of the Union from the other side of the aisle. Congressman Fleming, thank you so much for coming in.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Shannon.
Well, a new development in the case of a woman who was kidnapped as an infant 23 years ago. Ann Petway, the woman who raised the stolen child, was spotted at a Connecticut pawn shop. An arrest warrant was issued for Petway after she violated parole by leaving the state of North Carolina. Police want to question